It is Friday, 3rd January 2020, and Kololo airstrip is filled with both junior and senior army officers, veterans, journalists, and other people awaiting departure for Garamba in Wakiso. The gathering is to trek 195 kilometers in remembrance of what the National Resistance Army combatants went through as they engaged in a guerrilla war to oust the government they were opposing in early 80s.
Why did I become a soldier? I became a soldier to defend myself and my people against state-inspired violence.
A drive from Kololo airstrip in Kampala, we set off for Garamba, the genesis spot for the trek. At the first camping site, food is served. Groups split in 2 units codenamed kois, and each trekker gets a jerrycan, bucket, and soap. These things are to be used in the entire journey, and one is required to move with their luggage.
Ekoi, platoon 1, 2, 3. B-koi, platoon 1, 2, 3. C-koi, platoon 1, 2, 3. And D-koi, ufanye kwa hiyo kwa speed. Tusikazene chikatano.
Uganda People's Defense Forces erect camping tents in which the trekkers had to rest after hiking for hours. This applied to all camping sites through the week-long trek. Just like any unusual activity, the jamboree was briefed on the do's and don'ts during the journey.
For any reason you feel like stopping, inform the platoon commander or the company commander. Stop, sit on the side, we shall protect you until the car comes. If you have a problem, a health problem, if you are sick, if you have diabetes, if you have a heart problem, please take care of your own health. You are responsible for your health. We shall have water with us. My suggestion is don't drink water like a fool. Sip water, don't drink it. Sip water slowly. In case we are moving and you have a running stomach or you want to go and do something in the bush, please don't. Ask for permission so that we can protect you in the bush. Don't go there.
Sleeping time now, as the clock counts at about 5 a.m. Whistles are blown to wake the trekkers up. It was prudent for one to keep time, or else risked missing out on breakfast due to oversleeping. Additionally, the tents had to be dismantled for relocation to the next site.
Oh, Uganda, we very best. Oh, Uganda, we very best. With Yoweri Museveni, a proper son of Africa. With Yoweri Museveni, a proper son of Africa. Oh, Uganda, we very best. Oh, Uganda, we very best. With Yoweri Museveni, a proper son of Africa. With Yoweri Museveni, a proper son of Africa. 5 years in the bush fighting for peace.
President Museveni arrives early morning at the venue amid tight security. The president shares a story with the gathering on the significance of Garamba to the liberation of Uganda. Garamba is where the third attempt to attack Kabamba happened.
Campaign number 1 was from Kalamba, the 6th of February, up to about 1985. That campaign, these politicians these days talk of fundraising. For us, we were done raising. Because we didn't have guns, the first campaign had to raise guns. No other job. Look for guns, get guns, get guns. And that's getting guns, we had to use some economics. Don't spend bullets if you are not going to get more bullets. Just use the job. Because the effort that time was to get guns. So we didn't have guns. We had hope of getting guns from outside, but they never came. So we said we shall get them from here. So all the operations were to get guns,
This place Garamba was a unit next to mine. I started commanding Rota unit 1981 around July, August there. By the time I started command, my unit had, I could say, 2.5 guns, because one was my pistol, which I came with from NRA, because I was a commissioned officer in NRA. So I had my pistol, which I came with. So my unit had only 2 guns, 2 SMGs, and my pistol. That is all. A whole unit it had about 40 combatants, well trained. But because of the support we had amongst the people here, within 2 months, my unit had 15 guns, which we disarmed from the government troops in small ambushes. So the best part of it is that we did not have all that hope to survive or to see all this peace and our credits. We did not think we would make it.
What was your inspiration that you would actually come, hide in the bushes here, then make combat and eventually take over government?
Our inspiration, especially mine, was the indiscipline of the force of the UNRA that we were part of. As officers who had trained in Monduri in 1979 after defeating Idi Amin, I was among the first officers to commission, including General Katumba Wamara, General Eri Tumwina, and others. So we thought we would have a disciplined army. My first posting was in Gur, for example. We had a very good uniform called Franklin, which was bought from UK. It was a very good uniform. But the way we ashamed it, can you imagine that in Gur, for example, which was my unit, because our soldiers used to root piglets, from the farmers. You see all these pockets. They would throw, yes. And so the older pigs started running away from us and quarreling whenever we could be around. Whenever they would see the uniform, they would know that this is the uniform which seals their piglets. So you can imagine that kind of discipline.
He flags off the trek. The journey of 30 kilometers from Garamba to Bukatira in Nakaseke begins. The trekkers were followed by a convoy of vehicles to be used by those that would tire out.
Well, it's real, like the distance is real. It's too much. I'm tired. I'm too tired.
As the president moves, he makes a number of stopovers to talk to people or at health break spots. People on this trek were compelled to move on foot and not to use vehicles in order for them not to miss out on meals and health breaks. The vehicles had to be left behind. Along the journey were those who would tire out and sit along roadsides. Fortunately, ambulances were readily available to handle any unusual situation. Artists, sons and daughters of soldiers, both dead and alive, trekked the journey.
Been good. We've done good exercise. We have learned different things, seen different people. It's been a wonderful experience and still going on. We are still enjoying it. Yeah.
The experience has been really good. We actually following our fathers, tracing our fathers' footsteps where they passed. Because particularly the group I'm in, Watoto wa Jeshi is a group for kids of the foreign comrades and those alive. So we're really tracing our father's footsteps, and it's really good, and we have learned the struggle was real.
Okutambula kwa President Museveni bandiyigiddemu okumanya mbu omusajja ayagala eggwanga lye, ayagala ensi ye, naffe Abannayuganda twagala ensi yaffe nga bwe tweyagala.
Experience yabadde ta mu kutambula kuno?
Experience yange mu lugendo luno endaze nti President Yoweri Museveni n'eggye lye balwanirira eddembe lye tulimu kati Bannayuganda nga bayita eno, ate kati ffe tulina omukisa nti tuyita mu kkubo lirino, naye bo bayitanga eyo mu Maggwa, mu Kisenyi, kutegeera mu miti, ne bagenda basanga obuzibu bw'amaanyi nnyo nga balwanira ffe tufune eddembe.
This longest trek of 30 kilometers took about 9 hours of footing. From 9:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. we were residents in Ibukatira, Nakaseke district. Key to note here is that the president would also sleep within the camps. Each morning, testimonies from Liberation War veterans would engulf the ears of the trekkers. Sad, good, and ugly stories were told. This was done on a daily at every camp before trekking further.
Banange mwakola omulimu munene okulata ku Museveni n'akununula. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala. Nze nnyimba ezimu zinkabye n'okunkaabya. Mbeera mu nnyumba omwo ne bayimba oluyimba nti abantu baligana
zaali ziwera ssaawa nga 11 ne bankuba omukono guno ekirema okyaki bwe twanyweredde cyayi awo nnyini bwe bankubira anti yakulafite weyankubira nesobola okukwata omukono ogwo nengenda nga batutwala emisinde gyotakola ki gyotalabanga. Mulinzi Kabende yanyamba nnyo kubanga baali bansuula nanga temusobola kusuula nsanga. Ne banteeka ku kitanda kyali kyakomerera bakikula ne mu nnyumba ne bateeka ku kitanda kyakomerera kubanga bankuba essasi okubawo. Otunulawo toyagala nakoddayo kutuula. Ne ntuuka mu kampu ne
bansalako ebikola ebyali bisensebuse wano ne bantunga.
Walina empisa era nga bwa ogende wa mwana ye kino bbayo ekikajjo n'okirya ggwe simanya afande pekosi bwakwatako oba olagawa olina okuwandika statement. Twalina empisa era mwana ye kiboba omusabye ekikajjo n'akikuwa era reporting wa komandawo.
Ekiseera kyali bya kiro ne bukya ssaawa z'okuba kabamba n'ezituuka. Kati muzeeyi naye n'ajja kennyini n'atweyungako mu looli. Kati aba atambula bw'ati nanda n'antunulira n'anyenya omutwe n'agamba lakini nani alieta huyu. Ate kolaba muzeeyi ng'ayogedde Oluswayiri omanta akoze ki anyize. Kakati bali bena bagambye nti olaba ono omwana Fred n'agamba omanya afande muzeeyi naffe ono omwana twamusanze busanze emmotoka emaze okusimbula. Naye ate Fred ng'agezaako okugamba afande President nti omwana muve kutusemberera kutagadi yakabanga. Ekyagenda okuddirira essasi lya General Tumwine. Kati ngenda okulaba batandise okudduka bafuluma abo bali meeting bamanyi buli omu kyalina okukola. Angazi sina kimmanyi. So nze nasigala mu konteyina mpulira ebintu bibwatuka kati omutima nga bagenda kujja bakusange mu loole muno. Nengezaako okufuluma ningize kakati olw'okukyankalana n'abaana abange bavande Julius nga sibateekera.
General Yoweri Museveni last trekked in 1999 with a spear, though this year 2020 he trekked with a stick.
They were going to use it for climbing the hills, that mountain there. Long, because if it is a spear for war, it shouldn't be so long. I don't know where my people put it. If I had it, I would have used it, because it is the same as the one I'm using now, a shando. They are all long to support you when you are walking, especially in the hills, to support you. So it is different items, but for the same purpose.
Some sections of the trek required use of motor vehicles, but one thing to note during the trek was that the president was in easy moods, freely conversing with any member among the trekkers, including journalists.
Yes, I am walking symbolically to educate, especially in the difficult sections. That's why we chose the difficult sections. We walked in the difficult sections, the mountains, the hills. Unfortunately, in the hills also, people don't live there. As you saw in the hills, there are few people. We didn't meet, so it was actually convenient. The difficult part, population was small, and therefore we could walk. But in the other lowland areas, the population is packed. How would you pass by people at Kavari, there near Masuriti? How would you pass by them? And you say, I'm walking. How would you pass by the Barubara? The Barubara.
This was also an opportunity for locals to interact with the head of state. The week-long trek ended successfully without any unfortunate incident reported. Journalists were all over the trek to inform the public on what was transpiring.
Man, the trek is not easy, and I'm glad I have worked with the trekkers up to the final day covering them, and this is the story I've delivered to you.
Finally, I'm making it.
Ivan Kahwa and Philip Aguta, inspiring Uganda.